Hello, my friends. I am back. I have not done the chart. I know I said I might, but what I did do is I finished up the last few rounds and did the increases. Anyway, I did the last set of increases and then I did the rounds to make it the right depth. I think it looks pretty good. And the thing I did is that I steamed it last night. So if you haven't got a steamer, this or the steam from your regular old iron will do too. This isn't plugged in right now, but you fill it up with water and steam comes out those holes when you press this little button. Normally there's like a poof of steam when you press that. So rather than like blocking the whole thing or anything, I just steamed it. And that sort of smoothed it down a little yesterday. It was curled up so you couldn't even really see what I had going on. But I think it's about the right size. What I also did is you can see there's a little, can you see that? Sorry, Jane. There's a little safety pin here, and I put safety pins at the points where I'm going to be splitting for the body and the sleeves. And it seems like it's about right. So as you can see, I've got one here and one here. Oh, there we go. And there are, of course, going to be stitches cast on here to make the underarm. So I think it's about the right size. I like how it looks up here on the neck. Actually, pull it out a little that way. Oh, I'm really happy with these stitch patterns, aren't you? And then here you can see the back. Oops, there goes the yarn. You can see this is the center back. And so the nice thing about putting this on Jane is I can line it up with this seam. But it looks pretty good. It comes up a little higher here. I may end up doing some more short rows when I go back to do the collar. I don't think I'm going to do any more short rows here along the back, which is sort of the other option, which would shift this whole thing up a little. But I kind of feel like I'm just ready to knit, like knit around and around and around for a lot of stitches for a lot of rounds. So I think I'm going to leave that as is and see how I feel when it's all done and I really put it on before I do the collar to decide whether that would be useful to add a few more short rows. In which case I probably would adjust the pattern and have you do those short rows at the beginning when I did them here. So there are short rows back here. Yes, I know it's kind of dark in here too, unfortunately. But anyway, there are short rows to raise the back of the neck. So we'll see about that. So there it is. Check it out. Check it out. Oh, she looks good, doesn't she? So it still needs a name. It still needs a chart. It will need to be graded, but I think especially once I get the split for the body and the sleeves here, and then pretty much after that it's just a lot of straight knitting. So then I'll be able to go back and look at the pattern as written, and it's written in just this size, and then I will look at my spreadsheet, which already has all the numbers, but I'll make sure that they are all doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then I will be able to finish out the pattern and get that tech edited and probably get some people testing it. So from here on out, it's very much plain knitting for the most part. I do still have to really decide if I want to do ribbing at the cuffs and the hem, or if I want to do a turned hem, if I want to add an additional one of these motifs, this bottom motif, because that's my favorite one. Although I do really like the branches too, and I have a feeling I'm gonna have to do some more pieces with those stitch patterns. So I don't think this will be the last bit of color work you see from me, although I have some ideas for some cabled stuff that I need to get to too. But so far this has been really fun, and I hope you've enjoyed coming along on the little journey thus far. We're only a week in. From now on, though, it's probably going to be more boring knitting, but still I'm going to make a little video every day and tell you what's going on, assuming that I have done any knitting. And actually, I finished this knitting early yesterday evening, and then I steamed it And then I realized that I was going to want to talk to you before I started knitting again. But that was fine. I have plenty of other things I should be doing. So sometimes it's good to have to stop knitting for a little while. And as you can see, I don't think I talked about this before, but I put these stitches on a big piece of waste yarn. Let me spin it around here so you can really... It's this like pink acrylic. It is nothing special. I have a lot of it still, and I bought it when my almost 14-year-old was a baby. Maybe not even born. I don't remember. I've had it a long time. So pretty much all of the sweaters I have knit have had their underarms held by this pink acrylic. So it's not a yarn I would want to knit with, but it's definitely helpful to have, to throw all the stitches on, not worry about it, and be able to let this steam and settle down into just more of what it will be like when it's done. So I'm really happy with how it is, and excited to like finish it up and have a new sweater. And it's really, I think it's going to be a very light as air kind of sweater, especially the stockinette portion will be sort of seems sort of open. And that's what I was going to say about, I didn't block it because I didn't want to wash it and dry it, although it's not too humid today. But of late we've had a lot of rain and it takes a long time for things to dry, and I want to be knitting. So this isn't how the finished fabric will look. The steam just kind of settles the stitches down, but really to get this yarn to fluff up and do what that woolen spun yarn does, you really need to properly wash it. And by wash it, I mean like soak it in lukewarm water with some wool wash. Let the fibers get completely saturated, squeeze it all out, and let it dry. And then the fibers will really puff up and fill in and be light and fluffy. They'll look sort of like, hold on, I'm gonna pull out my swatch again. I should just have it out all the time. Like I should just wear it. But I don't know if you can see. I mean, I can tell, like it's just softer, and there's almost a little bit of a halo. You really can't see. So that's it there in comparison to, yeah, you really can't tell by looking, but I promise you, you can tell by feeling how much those fibers change from a bath. So I know some people think like, oh, I've knitted, I'm just going to put it on and wear it. Block it. Your stitches, they relax. They've had a bath. They relax, they settle down, they smooth out, and depending on the kind of yarn you're using, they fluff up. So I highly recommend also blocking your swatch, because now I really know, I may not know, swatches are lying liars in terms of stitch count sometimes, but I definitely have a better feel for what this fabric's going to be looking like at the end. So that makes me extra excited for this beauty. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will be back tomorrow probably with just a bunch of blah, blah, blah about stockinette. So until then, have a great one. Bye.